What are the characteristics of good research students, or what makes research students good or successful research students? This is an important question, and research students need to know about these important characteristics right from the beginning of their research journey in order to become successful and good research students. So here is a list of some of the main characteristics of good research students or successful research students. So the first characteristic is that successful research students are students who have genuine interest in the exploration of knowledge and scholarship in their fields. They are truth seekers, so they are not just interested in obtaining a degree or a qualification, but they actually want to have genuine knowledge in the fields in which they are working. Secondly, successful research students are research students who have a curious demeanor. So they are curious related to the phenomena in which they are actually working or which they are actually exploring. They have the drive to know and to know more and to know in depth. The other relevant characteristic in this list is that generally good research students are students who have in-depth knowledge of their subjects. So before they embark on their research projects, the areas in which they are working, they have obtained in-depth knowledge in that area, background knowledge, and this generally comes through a lot of reading and critical analysis and reflection, in many cases through personal experiences and their previous background. So in-depth knowledge of the particular field in which the students are aiming to conduct their research is very important. The fourth important characteristic is that these good or desirable research students are students who have good critical thinking and reflective attitude. So they are critical thinkers. They reflect on the phenomena or around the phenomena in which they are working. They are critical thinkers and they continuously think about the possibilities, they think about questions, that they think in innovative ways about the social or natural phenomena in which they are interested as researchers. Then the next characteristic is that such students have the praxis sense, which actually means that they have a sense of the theory and practice of the fields in which they are working. So what are the practical implications of the theories in their particular fields, or what is the theoretical background or the theoretical basis of the practices that are happening in their respective field? So this knowledge, which is generally called the praxis knowledge or the praxis sense, is an important characteristic of good research students. Then not just their curiosity or the in-depth knowledge or critical thinking skills and praxis or the theory practice interaction knowledge. The successful research students also need to have good knowledge of the research methodology or the research designs, the methodological choices that they are going to make in their research projects. So it is very important that they need to have good knowledge of the research methodology. Besides, the successful research student has adequate statistical, analytical, and mathematical skills, because they have to deal with data and they have to deal with research questions. They need to analyze quantitative, qualitative, or a mix of both types of data. So that is why adequate statistical and analytical skills is something that are very important. Then, in many cases, research students have genuine interest, they are curious, they have good research methodology knowledge as well. But the other important thing that is very important is that they need to manage their time and their resources. So knowledge of time management or skills of time management and organizational skills in terms of time management and resource management is also very important. Effective communication is also an important part, an important characteristic of the successful research students. Effective communication with people working in their fields, effective communication with the research supervisors or research colleagues, effective verbal and non-verbal communication, both in written form and in verbal form or in spoken form is very important. So communication generally takes in, for example, in the form of their research proposals or research reports. So that is something that is very important. Then flexibility and adaptability, because generally the research process is not often kind of smooth process. There are ups and downs, and so researchers need to be flexible in terms of their approaches, in terms of their research methodologies and research designs. So flexibility, adaptability to situations, to changes is extremely important. Then another important characteristic of successful and good research students is ethical conduct. The research process, one of the basic principles of the research process is ethical conduct. And ethical conduct includes issues such as the validity, the reliability of the research process and outcomes. And so, and the genuine attempt on the part of the researcher. So ethical conduct is a very important characteristic of good research students. Then drive for excellence. Here again, the most successful students are research students who strive for excellence and who want to achieve things in an extraordinary way or in a way that is innovative. Generally, students who do not have drive for excellence, they will produce research reports that will be like average. But good and excellent research students are students who have drive for excellence. And lastly, persistence and perseverance is very important. As I said previously, that research process is often not always a smooth process. There are failures and there are frustrations on the way during the research process, but researchers who keep persistent and who preserve, who remain, who keep their perseverance are often successful. So persistence and perseverance despite frustrations and despite certain failures during the process of research is something that makes a research student a successful research student.